Hello, everyone, and welcome to Fantasy Football, not suitable for work. As you can tell, it's just me and Bill tonight. But we just had our draft this weekend on Saturday. We're going to go over and review it, discuss some of the questionable moves made by our league mates. But first, I kind of want to start with the news. Of course, everybody's heard about Edelman, Ware, and Cam Meredith. But lucky for us, most of that happened before our draft. But any news you want to elaborate on there, Bill?
Not really.
How about Matt Stafford's new contract?
Tough. I mean, that's the way of the world now.
Man, $135 million for the next 5 years. Has he even made the playoffs?
Yeah, he did. He hasn't won a playoff game.
So it's
I saw a good stat today. $135 million for a QB that's won less playoff games than Tim Tebow.
I love stats like that. They make me warm and fuzzy on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
But
what's up, throwing shade?
That's incredible.
Yeah, Kareem Hunt. I mean,
what a situation to fall into. We'll get to Kareem Hunt here in a little bit. Yeah, if you ain't got nothing else, I'd really like to get in the draft. Of course, you were picking number 1. Sam was 2, and I was 5. You took Lev Bell at number 1, which really shocked me. I had you pegged for David Johnson. You rode him into the championship last year. You had me sold, and then when you said Bell, I was a little shocked. So take me through your thought process in that one.
I'd love to. It starts with in 12 games last year, because I did a lot of research. This was a really tough thing to come to, Maya. If Nick would have joined us, he would have told you. I kind of agonized over this decision. But what it comes down to is half-point PPR, throwing shade. Half-point. And I should just say this before we get into it. Half-point PPR, we eliminated the kicker. We've got 3 wideouts, 2 RBs, and a flex. What it comes down to is Lev Bell played 12 games versus David Johnson's 16. In those 12 games, he had 75 catches, and David Johnson had 80 catches. So he really outpaced him in catches per game. And his yards per carry were 4.9 compared to David Johnson's 4.2. Steelers do have a better O-line than Arizona, so I just decided I was going to go with Le'Veon Bell and see if those stats held up this year. Because if they do, he'll outperform David Johnson.
Yeah.
But having said all that, I love David Johnson. I wanted him on my team, but I just kind of had to go with my gut. You can't go wrong either way. Either way, you're going to have an absolute fantasy stud.
You really can't. It's a kind of win-win there. So, of course, Sam gets David Johnson dropped in his lap at number 2. The rest of the first round, the next few picks go according to plan. AB at 3, Julio at 4, and then I was at 5. And this pick I had a really hard time with. I really didn't want to pick here. I worked my ass off to work a trade. It didn't happen. And then, Odell gets dinged up. LaShawn has no offense left. And I was really, really struggling to make the pick here. And what it came down for me is similar to how you came up with Bill. Is Melvin Gordon, if he had played all 16 games, he would have finished 5 in PPR scoring behind Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, David Johnson, and Lev Bell. If he'd played 16 games too, he would have been 5. So at number 5, I felt comfortable taking Melvin Gordon there. I tried to trade back and buy the turn at 8 and 9. It didn't happen, so I reached, and I think it worked out good. I like the way my team looks.
I think I'm sharing the screen right now.
Yeah, I could see it.
Okay. Am I presenting? There we go. So
we're developing all sorts of skills on this show.
Oh yeah.
If you guys haven't seen it, check out the technical train wrecks. That one's a gut buster. Jeez.
No, I just wanted to show some. I just wanted to put this up so people can kind of see it, because our draft went against the grain a little bit. Definitely Bell and Johnson going first. AB and Julio seems right, but then Gordon and Freeman. And what happened was, because you and Cody wanted to take an RB, and Spotty took McCoy, Odell Beckham and Mike Evans fell to Nick on the turn, which is ridiculous.
It happens every year. He always has great value fall to him, you know. But it was important with us starting 3 wide receivers and a flex. It was important to me to lock down that RB1 spot early with a top 5 guy, just so I ain't got to worry about it. And then I could just fire off at all these top 20, top 25 receivers in the next handful of rounds.
Yeah, but seeing how the draft went down, it seems like, Jordan Howard or Jay Ajayi would have fell to you in that same spot.
Yeah, possibly. I'm a Howard hater this year. I'm not. Granted, I don't know. I might be singing a different tune after Glennon played respectably this weekend. Not saying to throw him on my roster or nothing, but it was a respectable game, So
yeah. So I think other than the RBs in the middle of round 1, everything's pretty standard. You've got the same guys, just in varying orders. Let's take it down to round 2. Nick capped off his snake with Mike Evans, which is just ludicrous. So now he's got 2 top 5 wideouts potentially within the turn. And it comes back to Spotty, who pairs up LaShawn McCoy with DeMarco Murray. So he's got a good RB situation going.
Yeah, a couple of you guys did those first 2 rounds. You did too. You went RB.
I had to.
I think everybody else stayed balanced through the first 2, but
just the way it fell. And I could have gone either way with it when you look, because I was on the turn from round 2 into round 3. I could have went Hilton in the second. It doesn't matter. I took what I felt was the best RB and best receiver left on the board at that point. It's really close when you round 2, round 3. You got a lot of guys close in talent.
Yeah, I just want to. Throwing Shade said only 8, and their teams will be loaded. Yeah, we've played 8. Personally, I prefer 8. There's more strategy to it. You know what I mean? Less luck, because the player pulls deeper, if that makes any sense. You got to know your starts and sits and your individual matchups and all that stuff. That's why I enjoy our 8-team league. I'm not opposed to going to 10 teams next year if we've got the players for it. But yeah, I think an 8-team league takes a lot more knowledge and skill than your 10, 12, 14 team leagues. You just kind of got to get lucky in those ones.
I guess. I mean, it's really hard in an 8-team league to fucking just eat shit in a draft, and yet, and I got to be careful because some of these guys might be watching, but we had a couple people go off the rails, and we're going to get to that.
Yeah.
Scroll down over here. Let's take it into round 3. I came into round 3 with T.Y. Hilton, and then Sam took the chance on Ezekiel Elliott. We don't know what's going to happen, how much he'll serve, or when he'll serve.
Yeah, well, they're stretching his appeal into tomorrow. Like it was supposed to, his hearing was today, but we don't have a decision today. Well, they stretched it into tomorrow. So on pins and needles one more day at least.
And I think, Sam shared us an article about how he might be playing week 1, and I think that was short-sighted of him to be celebrating, because all that potentially means is they could be pushing it back towards later in the season, and I'd much rather be getting a fresh Ezekiel Elliott on my team week 7 than having him help me win a few games at the beginning of the season and then take a hike towards the end and into playoffs. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, you got to get there first. I learned that lesson last year.
Yeah, what are you going to get there this year, or?
That's the plan. I mean, the plan is to win the trophy. So, yeah, I see throwing Shade said don't get a cramp reaching. This year I tried something different. Just I don't know. Do you tier base draft, or do you draft off rankings, Bill?
I do have tiers.
Yeah, I decided to go tiers instead of rankings this year, and that way it gives me a pool of guys to pick from, and that's how I came up with Michael Thomas. Besides, I like him. I mean, all Drew Brees does is throw for 5,000 yards, and Cooks ain't there to take any targets, and Thomas is young and hungry and wants a big fat paycheck in a couple years. So, and he's a huge target. So, yeah, I'll take him over the 32, 33-year-old Jordy Nelson any day.
Thomas should have a very good year. Absolutely.
Oh, man, I hope so. I hope we can look back on this at the end of the season and I can be right for a fucking change. I feel like I've had that one big miss just every year the past few years. Like remember the year I took Eddie Lacy #1 overall because he was projected to be a beast and he was just totally makes me sick even think about it.
Let's keep going here. Round 3. I think pretty standard here. You took Doug Baldwin. Let me go back to Casey. He took Gronk.
Yeah.
I think it's early still in an 8-team league to take Gronk in round 3, but
I agree. He was telling me he was going for a foundation. That's what he was after. He wanted a good foundation.
Well, good for him. So that drops Gurley down to Jimmy. He could have a bounce back year. I think we like his prospects.
I liked Gurley. I probably would have taken Gurley there had Jimmy not.
Yeah, definitely. Move on to you took Doug Baldwin. I like Doug Baldwin. He's just quietly very productive the last couple of years. He's doing a good job.
He's got a good floor. He's got a nice floor. I drafted Mike Thomas for his upside. I drafted Doug Baldwin for his floor. Try and get some balance with some upside.
Now, let's get to pick 22, where Cody takes Tom Brady, the first of 4 quarterbacks that he drafted.
Oh my gosh, I was shitting a brick when he was drafted. I couldn't believe it. To take 4 quarterbacks in an 8-team league. That's just. I mean, I understand the value aspect of it, but it's kind of like buying shit that you don't need just because you got a coupon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know about you, but I'm never going to have to trade for a quarterback. Not this season. It's just way too deep, And
don't get me wrong. I love Tom Brady. I love Aaron Rodgers. I still think in an 8-team league, this was a little early. But because he ripped off the Band-Aid with Brady, that caused Spotty to go, oh, fuck, I need Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
And this happens every year. So
well, you know what, though?
Someone takes a QB, everyone follows.
I don't think Aaron Rodgers would have made it past Nick at the turn. I really was expecting him to take him there. So, yeah, Cody jump-started it, and Spotty surprised me with it, but I don't think he would have made it past that 3-4 turn.
Probably not. But I don't think that's why Spotty took him, even though that theory makes sense.
No.
So Nick's got 2 great wideouts, and now he's thinking, fuck, I need some running backs. So he takes Isaiah Crowell. I really like Isaiah Crowell this year. He's got a fantastic line, and he's going to get almost all the touches. So,
yeah,
should have a great year.
Yeah, absolutely. As long as they're in a positive game script. But they just named Kaiser the starter, didn't they?
Oh, and now wait a second. I think a couple shows back, I predicted Kaiser, and you said Kessler was looking good.
Yeah, Kessler was looking good, but they called out Kaiser. I guess they got to sell tickets somehow, right?
Kaiser's a stud. I think he looks like he might have a good career.
I haven't wasted any of my time or energy watching the Browns in preseason.
Yeah, throwing shade says Duke gets all the catches. He does get most of the catches, but Isaiah Crowell did have a good fantasy year. I think he was like 14th overall running back. So
yeah, and he was really hot at the beginning of last year, if I remember right.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Browns offense just wasn't one that I was willing to touch. It just yeah, same with the Jets. I just wasn't going to own any piece of the Jets.
I think that's a mistake because Crowell and Powell are both going to have fantastic years. We'll get to Powell later, but you watch. Crowell can easily hit RB 14 like he did last year. So while I understand your logic in wanting to stick to good offenses when you're drafting offensive pieces, that was a spot where Nick had to take him. He needed some RB help, and Isaiah Crowell's a great 3rd-round pick.
Yeah, that's why when I was mock drafting up to the draft, that's why I didn't go wide receiver in the first two rounds. I mean, it looks good at the end of the second round, but then you get into the third round and you start seeing these RB. I just, yeah, Crowell should be in for a big year, but I wouldn't feel comfortable with him as my RB1.
Yeah. The only thing is, I understand what you're saying. I don't like to go 2 full rounds without touching RB, but when you look at who fell to Nick, he did not have a choice.
Yeah, that's very fair. That's very fair.
You have to take both of those guys in that spot, I think.
As a matter of fact, I've got another draft. My second league drafts Thursday, and I'm drafting from the A spot, and I'll probably do something similar. But that draft gets way more funky than this one. Like the guy's reaching for dudes all over the place. But
still, I think, yeah, when that kind of talent falls to you at the turn, it's not ideal in the sense that it's going to be a while before you get to pick an RB, but at the same time, Nick probably has the best wide receiver core in the league. So
yeah, that's true. I'd say it's one of the best. I think mine rivals him. I think I'm close.
Take us into round 4. Give me some of your thoughts.
All right. Nick taking Lynch at the top of the 4th. Once again, I think it's the same logic as taking Crow. He got to get some RB depth. And Marshawn, I mean, he does have some high touchdown upside, I guess, but they've already come out and said they're going to limit him to under 200 touches this year. So I don't know. When I first heard the news he was coming back, I was super stoked and was thinking about taking him on my draft team, or on my fantasy team. But the more I thought about it, the more I'd rather take a wide receiver in that spot. And then Spotty to Terrell Pryor right after that, who had a terrible game this weekend. The Washington offense looked terrible this weekend.
Right.
Mr. Four Quarterbacks took Brandon Cooks, so he stacks Tom Brady with Brandon Cooks. How do you feel about Brandon? I think he could go either way this season. I think he's going to be boom or bust, and there's not going to be any middle about it. What do you think?
I don't love Brandon Cooks. We talked about this before. Like I said, I think that trade helps the New England Patriots more than it does help Brandon Cooks' fantasy value.
Yeah.
Oh, Nick wants to join now.
I just seen that. Holler at him. Bring him in.
All
we can even back it up around for him because I love Nick's takes on these subjects. Maybe get some controversy. You're still screen sharing.
Oh.
We'll add this to Technical Train Wrecks episode 2.
Shut up, Kent. I forgot Nick has to join another way.
Oh.
So let me see if I can.
Because he won't join the 21st century and get a fucking laptop like the rest of the free world.
He can't figure shit out. He'll have to join from his fucking tablet because he can't figure out how to do it on his computer.
He better not lag. When did Nick head home?
Sunday. Mm-hmm. All right, I've put out the call to Nick. Let's see what happens.
All right, but I'll keep going on.
Okay,
I got DeAndre in the 4th. I like that pick. I think he's a candidate for a huge bounce back year. I think Brock Osweiler was a cancer that doomed the Texans last year. But I mean, in the handful of games that DeAndre's played with Tom Savage, he's got the targets, he's got the catches, and he's got the yards, and he endorsed Savage for quarterback when camp started. So I'm pretty high on DeAndre Hopkins this year, and to have him as my wide receiver 3, that's got me feeling pretty good. What's up?
What's going on, gentlemen?
Just going through the rounds of the draft, recapping.
What's that?
So I thought you couldn't join tonight.
Yeah, I decided. I heard you guys talking about my team. And so I just jumped in the other room, and I thought I should get on here and defend my picks.
Now, so far they make sense. I mean, Beckham and Evans at the 1-2 turn, you got to right there.
Absolutely. I heard you say this has happened to me a lot, and you're right. I'm not sure why the hell people continue to make mistakes like that and let that kind of talent slip to me. I mean, that's just absolutely insane. I looked at Bill when that draft was happening, and I could not fucking believe what was happening. I'm like, no shit, I'm gonna get these two sons of bitches. It was crazy.
I really thought you were going to wind up with Devontae Freeman. I didn't see how Cody took Freeman at 6.
And I didn't know who I was going to take. Freeman, Ajayi, something. I was going to do an RB wide receiver unless there was something. But the last person I expected to slide to 8 was OBJ.
Yeah.
So I had to take it. And then let's talk about the second steal of the draft. I'm not sure why nobody thinks Jay Ajayi is going to be an absolute beast. Flipped, and Bill has he and Le'Veon Bell. Just pisses me off.
Yeah, it's I really wanted Jay Ajayi, and it was the same thing. I mean, when things were sliding to Nick in the first round, we were looking at each other like, holy shit, no way. And I was just so pissed that he got both of those guys. I'm like, what the fuck are these people doing? And then the same thing, I'm watching Jay Ajayi just sitting there as the second round falls down to me on the turn. I'm like, no fucking way I'm getting both of these guys.
Yeah, see, Ajayi wasn't someone I was high on either. I mean, a lot of he was a good RB last year. I'm not gonna, but those 3 huge games really, I feel, inflated his stats and the condition of his knees. I mean, he's one good hit from having a career ender. You know what I mean? And it doesn't even have to be. He could wake up in the morning and his knees just be bone on bone and not work anymore, and it just makes me nervous. You know.
Well, I understand that, but every NFL football player's one hit away from having a career ender. So
that's a fair statement. That's a fair statement. But the condition is knees or something. There's no cartilage or there's no any. It's just bone on bone. And you won't be able to put as many miles on those, but I'm sure he's got plenty of miles for this season.
Yeah.
I mean, we already went over round 3, Nick. Is anything in round 3 jump out at you that you'd like to touch on?
I think you guys kind of touched on it. Bill was right. I got to a situation where I didn't expect that to go wide out because I don't normally like to do it, but I was forced to. I mean, how do you pass up on those two? So when I looked at it, I saw Crowell and Marshawn Lynch as the 2 best options at that point. I wasn't exactly loving Marshawn Lynch, but at that point in the draft, he was the best option for me. But I do think Crowell is going to be an absolute beast this year. They added so much talent in the offseason on that offensive line. And you go from just a nobody offensive line to adding an all-pro type guard, and the other one is and the center. And Crowell was the top 15 back last year with that shit offensive line. You add those 2 pieces. I think he's going to have a great season. Yeah. So I was happy to have him. But Lynch, I don't know what they're going to do. Yeah, they announced 200 or less carries, but, dude, they're going to be moving that ball all over the place, and that is the best offensive line that Marshawn Lynch has ever seen. He's going to have truck holes all over the place. It just all depends on if they really stay true to that 200 or less or not. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. I think it's up to Lynch, just whatever he feels like doing. But
yeah, he can sit there and eat fucking Skittles if he wants, or he can run into the end zone. It's up to him.
Yeah. I mean, I believe one reporter asked him if he missed football at all last year, and he said no. So, I don't know. I think Marshawn will get to do whatever he wants to do. Now, I know we're all itching to get to the 4th round, and Casey's 4th round pick of Kareem Hunt. Now, keep in mind, just to set some context, the news of Spencer Ware's injury had come out, but they had said, 2 to 6 weeks tops at this point. That's all the news we have at this point. And Casey turns to me, he says, I think I want that kid in Kansas City. I want Kareem Hunt. Well, okay, if that's who you want. And then he takes him, and I was shocked. And then how long after the draft did the news post that he was out for the season, Bill?
It was the next day.
it was like the next morning. It was like a Christmas present under the fucking tree. Couldn't believe. I went over because they just got a house they're moving this weekend. I went over to help him out with my trailer, and he had no idea Spencer Ware had officially been ruled out for the season.
That sounds about right.
I broke the news to him live in his backyard. It was just
yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so for the viewers watching and seeing, Kareem Hunt in the fourth, he fell ass backwards into the freaking starting Chiefs running back.
Oh man.
God.
That does sound about right. I mean, shit. He just. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I can't believe
pretty interesting.
I can't believe he's a huge Cowboys fan, if you don't know, and he passed on Des Bryant for Kareem Hunt. That just blew my mind. Des in the fourth. I mean, that would have been a great value of that. I was floored.
Yeah. Anything else of note there? Jimmy taking McCaffrey. Do you love him or hate him? I'm not sold on McCaffrey yet.
I'm not either. Not especially with them signing Jonathan Stewart to $8 million this year.
I absolutely love McCaffrey, just not there. I think he's going to do well, but not in the fourth round. I'm not taking him there. No way. Not with some of those other players that were available.
Yep.
What's that make him there? Like the RB12? RB
Top
14?
15 RB.
Yeah, the top 15. That's just unbelievable. Yeah. Now, something that I found curious is I see Bill takes Travis Kelce at the end of the fourth. Is that something is he a guy you were targeting, or were you just not interested in anybody else at that point in that area, Bill?
Well, again, it could have gone either way because I'm on the turn there, so I could have just waited until the fifth and it would have looked better. But the real reason was I'm liking the way my team is shaping up. And when I'm looking at the talent that's around, I don't think Kelce is going to make it 2 more rounds until my next pick. And I think he is that good at tight end that I just didn't want to let him slip. And it remains to be seen if it was a mistake. You can call it the fourth or the fifth round.
Yeah.
But I am a believer in Kelce. He was on a list to get him if I felt I could get him in the right spot. And he wasn't going to make it to the 7th round in our draft. So just based on how my team was constructed already, I felt like getting what I think could be a game-changing tight end because who else is catching balls in Kansas City? It's Tyreek Hill and him. And then
Tyreek wasn't catching them the other night in preseason. He was dropping more than he was catching. It was bad.
And he's the most targeted receiver on that team. So
and that is true. Now
I'll take it.
Now I was kind of shocked to see Sam take Keenan Allen. Like if I remember right, he's been one of the biggest Keenan Allen haters out there. What do you think about him taking Keenan Allen there, Nick?
Oh, fuck him. I wanted him so bad, and I didn't have it. I wanted to take him, but earlier, but I'd already taken those 2 wide receivers, so I had to go RB. But I didn't expect him to go right there, to be honest with you. I thought maybe he might sneak into the 5th, early 6th, and I thought I might have a shot on my next turn.
Let me correct you right there because I was absolutely taking Keenan Allen at the end of the 4th there, but Sam just snuck in 1 pick before me and took him. Otherwise, you would have never seen him again.
I had a feeling.
Yeah, I know we
Go ahead.
Yeah, we established that you were going to take him, but I didn't think he'd go in round 4. I thought he might go in like 5 or 6. I'm not saying he's not worthy of round 4. You guys know my love affair with Keenan Allen. I just had him on the shitty end of the stick twice now with injuries, but I wish he was on my team.
Yeah, I would have taken him over Des Bryant, who I ended up taking at the beginning of the 5th. Des is fine. But I would definitely prefer Keenan Allen. So Sam's just snuck in 1 pick before me to pick up who I think will definitely be a top 10 wideout this year as long as he can stay on the field.
Yeah, so with you taking Dez at the top of the 5th, what's your roster looking at? Hang on. There?
We'll get to that in 1 second. So Drinky NZ said, "What's the best fantasy football team?" Maya, you want to share what your fantasy name is this year?
My fantasy football team name this year is Final Penetration 2, the deepest cunt. And I photoshopped the movie poster. If I can find it, I'll screen share it.
Okay.
I don't know if I got it on here or not, but if I will, I'll show. I put a lot of work into this. I'm very, very proud of my Photoshop abilities.
You guys need to know we use a lot of dirty language in our team names. It's a close-knit group, but anyway, so if you're asking what my roster is starting to look like, well, I went RB with Le'Veon and Jay Ajayi. And then when it came back around, I took T.Y. Hilton and then Travis Kelce at the end of the fourth and Dez Bryant. So I'm pretty happy with how things are looking at this point on my team.
Yeah.
Really happy at RB, and then I feel like I did a good job getting some good wide receivers at value with T.Y. Hilton and Dez Bryant. And then outside of Gronk, potentially the best tight end in the game.
Yeah. He was tight end 1 last year. Yeah, he gets those touchdowns up. He'll be a beast.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I found my logo. Let me. Oh crap! Where'd you go? Yeah, I found my logo. Let me go ahead and screen share it real quick.
Go ahead.
Well,
talk.
Hold on. Let me resize it. There you go. You got to get the actors' names in there. I'm sure we all recognize
Jay
all those.
Cox.
Pete North and the Mule, winner of the Lifetime Achievement Award. Like I said, I put a lot of work into this. A lot of work. I'm a little disappointed in you guys. I was expecting some creativity, but you guys have been running the same ones as last year.
Yeah, like I said, I don't want to have a bunch of different names on the trophy. Let's just keep it the same for me. And
I'm just waiting to find one that works. Once I find one that works, I'll stick with it. Now, heading around the bend into the fifth, Sam takes Matt Ryan right there at the early 5 spot.
Hate it.
Yeah.
Yep, me too.
I'm not a fan of that. I don't like it at all.
So speaking of quarterbacks, you talked about the Aaron Rodgers, and you didn't think he'd get past me.
Mm-hmm.
I made the decision that day. Bill and I talked a lot about just like quarterbacks in general, I guess. Not necessarily strategy, because we're still as competitive as always, and I kind of try to lead them astray. But I had made that decision that day that I was not going to take a top flight quarterback, and I was going to wait and just try and. This is the first time, because you know me, and normally I do try and get my hands on one of them. But I had made the decision I was going to stockpile other assets and then just go for a Phillip Rivers, Kirk Cousins type of situation.
Yeah, I really struggled in the 3rd round thinking about picking up Aaron Rodgers, but I really wanted a nice looking starting wide receiver lineup for a change. I've always gone RB heavy, and it's never worked for me. So
yeah, there's so many value QBs later in the draft that, to take Matt Ryan and Drew Brees the way he and Jimmy did, I think that's kind of a homer pick. I mean, look, I love Matt Ryan. He's amazing. He helped me get to the finals last year, but there's just you got to do so much more there in round 5, I think.
Yeah, I totally agree. Now, Landry goes next, and then Drew Brees. I almost think that's a knee-jerk reaction to Matt Ryan going. I take Demaryius right there in the middle. I like Demaryius this year, even with the shitty quarterback play. He had shitty quarterback play last year, still had 90 catches, I think 1,100 some odd yards. Touchdowns were kind of low, but as a wide receiver 4 flex play, I think you could do much worse in that spot. How do you feel about Demaryius, Nick? Oh, go ahead, Bill.
Go ahead, Bill. Bill, go first.
I was just gonna say, Trevor Seaman looked good the other day. He was zipping the ball around. I mean, look, is he a Matt Ryan or a Drew Brees? No, of course not. But I think he'll be able to get the ball to his receivers. Denver's offense might be sneaky good this year.
Yeah, they did improve that offensive line, they say. How do you feel about Demarius?
Well, the thing about him, I think, action while Peyton Manning was there, the countless reps that they had, and that chemistry. And I think we're talking Trevor Siemian was like the guy for 1 year last year. I think with going into this second season now with Siemian as a quarterback, I think you'll start to see some of that offseason work pay off. And I would expect to see a better year out of Demaryius Thomas. He's just too goddamn talented to be putting up shit numbers like he's been.
I agree.
So I like the pick because when you look at what was available at that point in time, you could have went some RB there, but like you said, you wanted to stack that wide receiver group of yours because RBs hadn't worked for you in the past.
Yeah. After Demarius, Jimmy Graham.
Terrible.
Yeah, I don't know, but he took 4 quarterbacks, so I'm pretty sure did he take 2 or 3 tight ends?
I don't know.
I know he took at least two, but maybe 3. I don't know. Corner in the fucking market, I guess. Trade bait. And then Lamar Miller falls late in the 5th. That kind of shocked me just with the lack of workhorse backs in the league. How are you feeling? Go ahead.
I was just say, of course he did. When everyone's taking fucking QBs and tight ends, of course you still have starting RBs falling to the end of the 5th. I mean, that would have served, for instance, Sam or Jimmy well to pick up Lamar Miller or Demarius Thomas or Alshon Jeffrey, who Nick took at the end of the 5th. That could be a great. I mean, that's Nick's 3rd best receiver, Alshon Jeffrey. That's a good spot to be in.
Yeah, that's a nice lineup.
Moving on. I wanted someone like Lamar Miller. You're right. At the end of the day, who gets all the touches and who's the guy? And Lamar Miller gets that, and I wanted to get that flex RB working. And then I was going to take Jeffrey. I ended up taking Jordan Reed. Didn't really want to, but when I looked around, I thought, you know what, I can really put that tight end position in there. And then at that point, I decided I was going to take Kirk Cousins, which obviously we'll get to. But Jeffrey on a contract year, we all know what contract years mean with the players. That's a recipe for a great season.
Yeah, and I got to admit, Carson Wentz looked good the other night. He was zinging that ball. I seen Torrey Smith go off for that big touchdown. That Eagles offense is looking pretty nasty. It looks like plenty of fantasy gold there.
Throwing shade says that guy lost already. Did he name his team $400 wasted?
Every league needs their donkeys, just like every poker table.
Hey, what do you guys? Do you guys think Sam's watching right now? Let's keep dragging his team.
I wasn't. To be honest, I wasn't impressed with his draft. I don't know. We'll get to that at the end. Let's do to like round 8, and then we'll just recap rosters as a whole. We can screen share the ESPN. What do you think?
Sounds good.
Okay. Now I'm gonna fast forward to. I'm gonna skip over the Mike Gillislee pick in the 6th. Oh my gosh, that's terrible. It's terrible.
It is awful.
But in the 6th, this is where I made my absolute favorite pick of the entire draft. Leonard Fournette fell to the middle of the 6th round.
It's stupid.
What, Mike Gillislee or Leonard Fournette, or that he fell?
It's stupid that he fell. Mike Gillislee, now he's got Tom Brady, Gillislee, and Brandon Cooks for everyone watching. Okay, so Leonard
I didn't
Fournette,
put that together.
Leonard Fournette falling to the 6th, and we all kind of commented like, "Holy shit!" For some reason, no one just wanted to touch him, and that's stupid. He's the lead back on the Jags. I mean, yeah, Chris Ivory might steal a few goal line carries. But
have you watched his highlights? Have you watched his YouTube highlight reels, man?
Yeah.
He's a freak, an absolute freak.
He's going to get fed the ball, man. That's a great pick for you in the 6th round. Nice job.
I'm just holding on to hope to that ankle. I don't think he's practiced in a while, but they keep saying he'll be good for week 1, and I love the fact their coach doesn't want to throw the ball at all. So in the 6th round, that could be a monster value right there.
Yeah.
All right. let's see. Next goes Devontae Adams. I liked Devontae, but like I said, with Leonard Fournette, if Fournette wasn't sitting there, I'm taking Devontae. Definitely not touching Mike Gillislee.
Yep, Sam said, I can't wait to get in on this flame.
Let's see.
I'm looking at the viewers and I'm thinking, I guarantee one of these fuckers is Sam. Just like he's sitting there licking his chops, like, oh yeah,
yeah.
You don't like Matt Ryan? That's why I was really late.
No, we don't like Matt Ryan. Hell no. Is he the definition of positive regression? I don't even know what the fuck that means or why people say it. It makes no fucking sense to me. But let's see. No, nothing wrong with Devontae Adams in the 6. Got no qualms with that. Allen Robinson, that may or may not be a value. That'll play out.
Hey, so real quick. So in the spirit of fucking with Sam, I was listening to a podcast today, and they talked about how many times Matt Ryan's thrown over 30 touchdowns. How many times do you guys think that's happened?
Every time. I don't know.
Has it happened before?
No, it's like it's only happened twice. So he threw 38. He's thrown like 29, 31, 17, 25, and 26. So the point that they were making was everybody assumes like when these guys have a huge year that it's going to be the same year the next. And then you have guys like Phillip Rivers who are like the mark of consistency, whose ADP is like round 12. Mm-hmm. So like when you look at what you could have gotten with Matt Ryan there, and you got guys like Phillip Rivers that are throwing 4,200 yards on average and 27 to 29 touchdowns on average every single year, and that's about the same as Matt Ryan. He just happened to have a great year last year, which really does not happen. It was really interesting statistics they're throwing out there today, and it just really puts it in perspective as to why you don't touch a fucking quarterback early in the draft.
Yeah, I went in with that mentality that I was not. Typically, I like a top 5 QB. I like to have my QB picked before the 5th round. And this year it took a lot of discipline, but I didn't do it. Didn't touch it. And I think I got some excellent value late that we can recap after the 8th round because I really like where I'm sitting with my quarterback spot. Matthew Berry endorsed it on their podcast today, which I don't know if I should be excited about or nervous, but yeah. Definitely waiting on a QB definitely worked out for me, I think.
So we're getting to pick 47 here, round 6, and Jimmy pulled a trade.
Oh, God damn it.
To get Kyle Rudolph. Okay. He traded with Sam here, so he could pick up. So he took Sam's 6th round pick and 9th round pick to get Sam's 7th and 8th round pick, so he could get Kyle Rudolph. And look, I've been a big proponent of Kyle Rudolph. I think he's a great tight end. But you didn't need to trade there to get him. He'd still be there, dude. Next round, the round after, whenever you need him. What do you got?
We were sitting there. Oh, my God. We were sitting there, and he's like, Sam, you want to chat? And they go outside, and he comes in. They announce trade, and I'm like, oh, cool. Let's see. I'm curious to see what the fuck this guy's going to do. He just traded up, basically. And he announces Kyle Rudolph. It took every fucking thing it took every goddamn power in my body to not just lose my shit and start laughing. I looked at Bill like, what in the fuck just happened? Kyle fucking Rudolph? That was what you traded for? I don't know.
Oh my gosh. That was awesome.
You know what? The best thing is, we gotta share this video to our league Facebook group so all these fuckers can watch it and be like, fuck these guys.
That's the whole point of the show. The whole point of this show is just to talk shit.
Casey will be sharpening his fucking knife out in his garage while he lights up. And fucking our new guy Cody is gonna be like, oh, why did I join these fucking assholes?
We gave him fair warning. It's his own fault. Now, Bill, would you, taking Ty Montgomery at the back of at the 6-7 turn, would you say that you got a value on that pick, or would you say the price was appropriate?
There might be some value there. I definitely don't know. I didn't overpay for him, but I might have got I might have got some 5th or 4th round value there. Let's see what happens. He put on a little bit of weight in the offseason. He's definitely the starting running back as of right now, and he's in a fucking really potent offense. So I'm hoping for the best here. I'm really hoping for the best. But I think my round 7 pick of Kelvin Benjamin might have been some sick value, the way he's looked in the preseason.
He's looked like a boss.
He's looked like rookie year, Kelvin Benjamin.
He looks like he gives a shit. He looks like he wants to play this year. That's exciting.
I'm really excited for that because if that turns out, then that really takes care of my whole wide receiver situation. If it doesn't, then I'm going to have to hope one of my late round picks pans out for me. But right now I'm excited. I'm optimistic.
Nice. Now, not too much excitement. Sam takes Martavis in the 7th. I think that's a good. You think so?
Oh, terrible.
In the 7th?
Oh, yeah. Nick, what do you think?
I'm not a big fan of him there. I don't. That's the hype about Martavis Bryant is what the fuck he's going to do for everyone else. Distraction for Antonio Brown to have more look, and he's going to take the top off that defense, and it's going to soften the box for Lev Bell. That's what the excitement for Martavis Bryant is. But for whatever reason, everyone's like sucking this guy off like he's going to be, the next fucking Randy Moss, and that's just not going to happen. He's going to have his big games where he has the 2 or 3 touchdowns. He's going to disappear in some games, be that distraction that really frees up the other guys and makes them really a lot more well-rounded and more scary.
That's my only thing with him is I love him as a football player. I'd love to have him on my team, absolutely, but it's pretty hard to start him on your fantasy team, especially in an 8-team league. When you look at Sam's total roster, it's going to be pretty tough to start Martavis Bryant.
Yeah. Then next we got Darren McFadden. Casey took the handcuff blanket on Zeke being gone week 1. That's yet to be seen. Now, this is the part of the Jimmy Sam trade that really, really pisses me off. Sam takes Dalvin Cook right in front of me. Like, I had him queued up, ready to go, auto fucking pick, and then Sam snags him there. I know damn well Jimmy's not taking Dalvin Cook right. I don't know if Jimmy knows who the fuck Dalvin Cook is, but if Jimmy doesn't trade up for Kyle fucking Rudolph, I got Dalvin Cook as my RB3 behind Fournette and Melvin Gordon, and that just would be a nasty fucking lineup. But my consolation prize is Michael Crabtree in the 7th. I think that's a super fantastic value. You're getting Amari Cooper production for a 7th round price. Any issues with that pick, Nick?
I wouldn't say any issues with that at all. I'm not sure I agree with Amari Cooper production at that price because I think Amari Cooper is
last year.
Well, yeah, that's last year. We all know where Amari Cooper is going, but value, I'm not going to hate on the pick at all because I'd take him in that spot as well because I think Crabtree's a beast. I think Amari Cooper is he's gonna be the clear-cut number 1 and have a really big year.
It'd be nice if Amari and Crabtree split those touchdowns that Seth Roberts took last year. The fucking vultures. Who's that guy? Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Guy. Now,
yeah, no, I know what you mean.
Now, Mr. 4 quarterback, 3 tight end takes Derrick Henry in the 7th.
That's awful. This is awful.
This is ridiculous.
He's a fucking backup RB going in the 7th round of an 8-team draft. Cody, if you watch this, I'm sorry, dude, but that's fucking terrible. He went before Carlos fucking Hyde. So once again, a great pick falls to Nick. This is fucking ridiculous. Like, people are loading up Nick just because of their incompetence.
Oh shit!
Carlos Hyde and C.J. Anderson both fucking fell to below Derrick Henry. You're talking about starting RBs falling to a fucking backup.
I could kind of understand it if you took DeMarco in the 2nd. I could kind of see that logic at 7 in the 7th round, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely ridiculous. There's just no way around it. How the fuck do you take? I mean, we're Tennessee fans for God's sake, and we know that Derrick Henry's he's gonna see shit for touches. Let's be real. They're gonna try and get him out there, but
Yeah.
8-team league. I'm not even sure I'd take Henry in a 12-teamer for Christ's sake at round 7. So, I mean,
Throwing shade said Cody should have sent that 400 to Houston for the flood victim. Oh my gosh,
that's too funny.
Oh fuck!
oh god,
We're such assholes. Like Cody's gonna watch this and be like, "I'm not playing next year, you fucking cunts."
Oh shit,
man! Yeah, I don't know.
That's great.
I don't know.
It's
but,
not personal.
It's definitely not personal. This is why we play, is to talk shit. Just wait till we get into the Photoshop and memes and stuff. It's going to be awesome.
Yep.
And we'll be sure to share those every week on the show because we're good at trolling our friends.
Don't worry, Cody. Nick will get more shit than anyone in the league, so you can count on that.
Don't you worry.
Now,
it never fails.
Nick gets Carlos Hyde and Tariq Hill at the 7-8 turn.
Those are great picks.
I like them. I'm a little shaky on Tariq after watching a little bit of him this preseason.
I understand that, but the talent is undeniable, and Jeremy Maclin is gone. That's more touches for an extremely talented, athletic guy. He'll make plays. He'll get in the end zone. It's going to be awesome. I think he had the most efficient TD per touch ratio in the whole league last year. It was incredible.
Yeah.
And Carlos Hyde,
Bill, I mean,
you can't go wrong.
Sorry.
Again, you're talking about a starting RB. He's got Kyle Shanahan now running things. We've seen what he does with RBs. And Carlos Hyde's very talented. He's going to make some shit happen.
And did you see Carlos Hyde catch that touchdown out of the backfield the other night?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, I was. So really the philosophy behind that, mine was, here's the thing. My preparation for this fantasy draft was 5 minutes in a fucking magazine and listening to a few podcasts. I didn't do shit. I just always play the draft and see who falls. I try to make sure I know situations, of course, by watching Sports Center and all that kind of shit with rosters. But with Carlos Hyde, I just look at him like he's the guy. And anytime you can get a number one guy that's going to get the work, you just take him. Yeah. And the same thing with Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill, Bill remembers the game. I was playing him last year when Tyreek Hill had that. It was against Tennessee.
Yep.
And he had that fucking shit in the backfield, 90-yard touchdown or some shit.
Yeah.
And then when you take Jeremy Maclin out of the picture, yeah, you're right. He had some drops. I don't know. We'll see what comes of it. It's not like he's cracking my starting wide receivers right now anyway. Yeah. So for a possible flex situation, I think I think there is some value there considering he's a number one.
Yeah, definitely lots of upside. He'll have the volume too, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Mark Ingram follows.
That could be. Well, hold on, because isn't Mark Ingram technically the starter?
Technically, but I don't know. Have you seen Alvin Kamara? I don't think it's long before he's their two down back. That kid's super talented, really talented.
Yeah,
I think it wouldn't shock me to see
nice.
Mark Ingram get traded. What were you gonna say, Nick?
I was just saying, yeah, Alvin Kamara is great. They took him third round. He's out of Tennessee. He's that. He can be a 3 down back. Right now, I think you'll just see him more in third down situations because of his receiving capabilities. But outside of that, it's just such a loaded, scary backfield. It's hard to take anybody, but Mark Ingram's really proven himself until he gets pulled. Drew Brees did an interview where he talked very highly about Mark Ingram. I get it, he's not the coach, but
Mark Ingram's a stud. He's every time he had a couple of rough games last year. But no, he's looked really good the last couple of years. He's put up some good numbers too when he's getting those touches. Let's take it to Cody's first legit pick. I think this was a great pick by Cody. Golden Tate in the 8th round. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's the number one in Detroit, and he can get it done.
And a PPR monster. He'll see a lot of targets. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
And he got a pretty decent value in the 8th, don't you think, Nick?
Yeah, no, I think so. Like you said, PPR nightmare. That guy just catches everything. He's really reliable. And fuck, they just paid Matt Stafford $135, $92 million guaranteed. They're gonna say, hey Matt, sling that pitch around. We just paid you the whole goddamn worth of Detroit.
That's disgusting money. That's disgusting money. That's worse than the contract that the Falcons gave Matt Ryan. Remember that one when he had they even made the playoffs at that point when him and Tony Romo got paid at the same time?
The thing is, that's just the market. If you have a starting QB, you've got to pay him.
Yeah.
If you've got a franchise QB, rather. Let's go ahead and take it down to, I think is a great pick for you, Maya. C.J. Anderson in round 8.
I was holding my breath that he would fall that far.
Yeah, me and Nick watched that game, and fuck, he reminded me a lot of when I rode him into the championship 3 years ago. He looked like a fucking stud.
And like I said earlier, they added a couple pieces to that offensive line. You know, they drafted Garrett Bowles out of Utah in the first round. They've done what they can to assist the running game, and I think that's the type of football they want to play with that defense. They just want to be a possession type football team. They want to grind that clock, and CJ's the back to do it as long as he stays healthy.
So good pick there. I think if he stays healthy, he's going to be an integral piece of your roster this year. Very good.
Yeah.
Sam takes Tevin Coleman. I like that. Tevin Coleman is also a beast, super talented. I mean, Devontae Freeman doesn't even need to go down for Tevin Coleman to be flex worthy.
Yeah.
And if Devontae Freeman does go down, then fucking, Sam probably just found a top 5 RB in round 8. So
yeah,
let's pray Devontae Freeman stays healthy.
Can I tell you a quick story about Tevin Coleman?
Sure.
So last year, what was it, week 3, that Monday night game with the Falcons? I can't remember what week it is. Anyways, it's Monday night. I'm working out of town. I'm working in New Orleans. Decide to get a ticket to the game, treat myself. And in my starting lineup, I got Drew Brees, Brandon Cooks, and the last minute I pulled out Latavius Murray and threw in Tevin Coleman for that game. That's the game where he went off for 3 touchdowns. And I am in the 15th row. And, of course, I'm wearing a Saints shirt because I'm all by myself. And you got to cheer for the whole team. And I'm trying so hard not to lose my mind because Tevin Coleman is just banking points on my team.
That's awesome.
Man, love that game.
He's a stud. I think that's fine for Sam. Like I said, he's already flex worthy. So if Sam needs to flex him, he's okay there. Casey takes Sammy Watkins. Go ahead.
Jared Goff. That's all I got to say.
Nick?
Yeah, that's scary. That's a scary situation. I think there's other options available at that point.
You can't deny the talent there. So, hopefully for Sammy Watkins, since he's in a contract here, Goff just force feeds his ass, and hopefully Sammy Watkins stays on the field for once.
Lots and lots and lots of bubble screens. That's what Sammy Watkins is going to need. Lots of bubble screens because that's about the only ball that Jared Goff can throw. No.
Yeah.
Sam lands Jamison Crowder back of the 8th. I think that's a rather safe play. Should be lots of volume on that offense. But the one I want to get to is Joe Mixon. First of all, I'm shocked that he fell to the 8-9 turn. Also, Jeremy Hill got dinged up a little bit this weekend. Gio Bernard's still fresh off an injury. So I like that pick a lot. I like his upside. How long do you think you're going to have to wait until he's startable on your roster there, Bill?
You never know. The backfield will be his. It's just a matter of time. I'm hoping that maybe, I never hope for injury, but I'm hoping Jeremy Hill's stuff kind of lingers and he's not totally good. And Joe Mixon looked good, and I'd really like to see the Bengals just give him the shot. Just feed him week 1. I think I'm going to put Ty Montgomery in up my flex. I have Joe Mixon there right now, but I'm looking forward to the opportunity of rolling out Joe Mixon every week because I think it'll be really big for me. So, yeah, I like that. End of the 8th.
I just seen the comment, Jared Goff wears Crocs. Maybe that's half the problem.
As far as Joe Mixon goes, I think the only thing you got to worry about is hope that he doesn't go inside a fast food restaurant this season.
Lock that guy in a padded room. Only let him out on game day. All right. Well, yeah, I don't want to go any deeper into it round by round, just because then you start getting into your flyers, and I don't think there's a whole lot of interest there. But I got all our lineups queued up. I'm going to go ahead and screen share, and then give a quick review, and then we'll wrap it up for the night. What do you say?
Yeah.
All right. Is that Sharon?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, Nick, I'll let you glaze over your roster there and give your quick highlights and where you think you'll finish this year.
Well, I did finish. I did win last season.
However, I would like to take a lot of credit for that, by the way. I own a piece of that trophy.
Yeah, I think you own a piece of that, but wheeled and dealed some trades last year that got me into the promised land. As far as this year goes, I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen. I just think a lot of favorable situation in the first round is gonna really make a difference for me, and we'll see what happens. I mean, we got happen in the first couple of weeks, or in the next first 4 weeks with trades and all the different trades that'll probably come about. But getting Odell Beckham Jr. and Mike Evans, I think is going to be such a huge piece. And you are not going to see, mark my words, this is one thing I should have done a long time ago. The difference between Kirk Cousins and whoever number 2, number 1 is not going to be much. It's usually between 3 and 4 point spread per week.
I read that stat.
Per week, and I think that's going to make the difference because it allowed me to kind of to juice up some other areas. I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't have a perfect team. Nobody does. I think the key for me, though, I need my RBs to show up. If they show up, then I'm going to have a pretty solid roster. If they don't, then fuck me.
Yeah, I'd agree with your analysis right there. If your RBs work out, you'll have a monster on your hands. Captain Cutthroat right here. This is Bill. You want to give us the tour of your lovely roster?
Yeah. Same thing. I mean, Cody took 4 QBs, so it started to get a little slim pickings down at the end, but I'm happy with Marcus Mariota.
You could probably trade like 3 magic beans to Cody and score Derek Carr if you're in a pinch.
I know, right?
A 4th tight end, something.
He's going to learn real quick he can't roster 4 QBs, so someone's going to get some of his leftovers. But yeah, Le'Veon Bell in the first, Jay Ajayi in the second. I love that core RB situation. Super stoked on it. Hopefully Andrew Luck's coming back sooner than later because that really amps up T.Y. Hilton's value for me. So as long as, right now there's no word when he's coming back, that hurts my T.Y. Hilton pick. But once Andrew Luck's back in the game, T.Y. Hilton will be a stud. No worries there. Des Bryant's a TD machine, so I like that situation. And Kelvin Benjamin nicely rounding out my wide receiver core. I'm excited for what he'll do this year. Solid at tight end. And then Eagles D, I think everyone's sleeping on them. They're going to be ridiculous. They've already got one of the best special teams units in the league, and now with the sick pass rush they have, that's a team that's going to get me some nice points, I feel.
Well, you're going to land some interceptions out of that revamped secondary that you got this offseason.
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay. Jimmy's team, if his backs pan out, he'll have a pretty solid team running the Julio-AJ duo. Devontae Adams, glad he locked down that tight end position, that must trade. Not much depth on his bench, so I don't know. As long as his RBs work out, he should
he still has Spencer Ware, for Christ's sakes. I mean, what are these people doing?
Now, just so everybody knows, we do a fab budget. We don't do inverse order of standings anymore. So, and at this point in the week, everybody's free. So there's absolutely no reason to still have Spencer Ware or Cameron Meredith on your bench for that.
I was just gonna make the comment. I haven't done shit with mine yet either. So
You fucking idiot.
I was waiting to get to that. All right,
yeah,
we're
been too busy.
This is Sam's team. Matt Ryan leading the charge. I like David Johnson. Jaquiz Rogers playing the Doug Martin suspension. That's all right. I mean, he's kind of in the same situation with his RBs. He better hope that Dalvin Cook pans out, which I think he will. Or you always got Fat Rob waiting in the wings. But
And Bilal Powell, I have a feeling that's not what Sam's lineup's going to look like come opening Sunday.
yeah.
He just hasn't touched it yet.
District 5, Charlie Cuntway. That's spotty. And, Spotty wound up with a pretty respectable team. He's, solid RB quarterback.
He's hurting it wide out. He's really hurting it wide out. I mean, you look at as much as I like Terrell Pryor and I like Fitz, then he's got Jeremy Macklin.
Hey, Spotty, if you're listening, hit me up. Toss you one of my wide receivers for DeMarco sitting right there. I'll be excited Homer for a minute.
Nick's already looking at LaShawn McCoy like, fuck.
Is he? Yeah, we're just over here licking our chops. New cunt, here's your quarterback roster leader. If we were playing a 2 QB Superflex league, this guy would be killing it.
He'd be dominating.
Smashing it. Casey's team over here, he waited on quarterback as well. Went with Dak. I think he drafted Jameson Winston first, but likes Dak's matchup a little bit better. I'm not so hot on Dak. I don't like their schedule. Looks pretty tough. Jordan Howard, I'm warming up to him, but he wasn't someone I was comfortable taking in the second round. Luckbox Kareem Hunt.
So why not? I'm curious why you didn't feel comfortable with Jordan Howard. Yeah.
Negative game script. If I remember right, he started fading towards the end of last season. Let me see.
Well, he was a rookie.
Yeah, I have the feeling that Mike Glennon's going to have the effect on the Bears that Brock Osweiler did on the Texans last year. You know what I mean? They're not going to be able to. They're not going to respect the pass game. They're going to load up 8-9-man fronts, and Jordan Howard's not going to be able to go anywhere. And they've also got a second year of tape on him.
If Mike Glennon does that, it'll just be Trubisky's game.
Yeah, I asked just because he had 1,365 yards, second in the league in rushing last year. I think that guy's ready to roll. I think he's going to do well.
Yeah, like I said, I just don't like the offense. I don't want to fuck around with these bottom 5 offenses. I don't know. Like I said, Luckbox, Kareem Hunt, Antonio Brown, can't go wrong. Jarvis Landry is your wide receiver 2, though. I'd say that's about the
he's
end
in trouble.
of the. Yeah. Sammy Watkins in the flex.
Casey's in big trouble. He's way too. He's too proud.
He'll be hitting my ass up.
No, he won't. Casey's impossible
right.
to deal with. He's too proud to fucking trade, but he's in trouble. You can just look at that roster and go, "Wow."
I'd agree. And then we come to the crown jewel of the whole league, my roster. Now, as I referenced earlier, I believe Matthew Berry either made my team or he broke it with his comments earlier. He says, if you're going to wait on quarterback, Andrew Luck slip into the 10th, which he did. And if you take him there, you can go ahead and pair him with Carson Palmer, and which had already happened before his podcast come out. So I'm not sure how to take that. But if Andrew Luck comes back healthy in a week or two, I think I'm looking at a monster. Melvin Gordon.
I hope he does.
Yeah, that'll be interesting for our weeks. But, I mean, I couldn't be happier with my 2 RBs. Melvin might have been a little bit of a reach, but like I said, if you figure his pace over 16 games last season, he'd finish 5th in fantasy points total, even behind QBs. So I don't think it was a reach for him at all. Michael Thomas.
Maya, you got a Pornhub tab open.
Do I really? Oh, shit. Hurry, close that down. It's not lesbians love muff, is it? The secret's out.
Porno gay.
Whoa, how'd that get in there? But Yeah, I like the way my roster's shaped up. I like Martellus Bennett in the tight end. Lots of people don't like him. I'm kind of high on him. I'm willing to put my money where my mouth is. Throw him on my roster, see how he does. I mean, Aaron Rodgers 40 touchdowns got to go somewhere, right?
I want all the viewers to put in comments who they think had the best draft. Give your honest opinion. Pick someone other than yourself who you think drafted the best team. Start with you, man.
Other than myself, I really like Cody's team. I mean, he has got that quarterback spot just sewn up. I mean, you got nothing to worry about. No, honestly, yeah, he's hurting a little bit of wide receiver, but he's got a lot of upside there and a safe floor with Fitz. But I like Spotty's lineup. Aaron Rodgers in that RB core, that looks really good with Lamar in the flex. Yeah, if Fitz does what he does and Terrell Pryor's everything he's cracked up to be, I think Spotty will have a really nice team this year and should finish in the playoffs.
Okay. What about you, Nick?
I know you're my brother, but no, I think your team. I like what you did with the your RB situation is pretty impressive. I'm curious. The jury's out on Marcus Mariota. I like the guy. I think he's going to have a better year. I think he just got fucked by the old QB fucking patrol over there in Cody. So
you can always go trade for
eventually one of those guys will hit the pine and you'll grab them. And then you go to your wide receivers. Remind me of who your wide receivers are, though, Bill.
T.Y. Hilton, Des Bryant, and Kelvin Benjamin are my main.
That's right. And what I liked about it is the value that you got with Dez and Kelvin. Yeah, you went after the big dog Ty early, but you really got some nice value with Kelvin Benjamin and Dez Bryant. So Philadelphia defense, we know they're going to do well. Then your tight end situation. I mean, you got Travis Kelce, the guy's a stud. I think with that said, that your running backs are clearly going to carry you, but you got some sweet value. Des Bryant, I mean, shit, 3 years ago, that guy was going 12th overall, 10th overall. I just think that guy is not done. I wanted to take the guy. So
the problem I have with Dez is he's going to face top cornerback lineups all season long. That he's still hampered by injuries last year. And there's really nobody else for the defense to cover, especially if Zeke's gone. You know what I mean? Like, I just think he'll see a lot of double coverage. I don't think he finishes in top 20. I don't think he's a top 20 wide receiver this year.
All right. So where's the side Christ on that one?
We can work that out post show. I'm anxious to hear who Bill thinks has the best lineup.
I kind of already told you and Sam, but I thought Nick had the best draft, and a lot of that was just due to everyone else's incompetence. When you look at some of the guys that fell to Nick in certain places, not least of which the very first turn to get OBJ and Mike Evans is just ridiculous to have that in your wideout core.
I gotta agree. I never seen Odell falling that far. I thought for sure Cody would have snatched him up right behind me and been happy doing it.
Yeah, just because he's getting missed a week. And then he was able at the very end of the fifth to get Alshon Jeffrey. So I think he's got a sweet wide receiving core. And then it just comes down to opinion right now. But, I think finding guys as late as he did, like Isaiah Crowell, he picked up Kirk Cousins in the 9th. That's going to be huge pickup at QB. There was someone else I wanted to mention. Oh, yeah, Carlos Hyde at the end of round 7. Nick's going to be fine at RB. Maybe no top 6 or 7 RBs, but he's going to be fine. And the production he gets at RB is his wide receivers will more than make up for it. So,
but I think we can all agree that outside of Cody, Sam's team blows fucking donkey dick. Like, outside of, you better ride David Johnson like the stallion he is, because the rest of your team is hot dog shit. I'm not even going to fucking lie. Like, maybe Bilal Powell, but, I mean, Cooper couldn't get it done in the red zone last year. Keenan Allen, you're hoping he makes it all year. Martavis Bryant, you're hoping he doesn't get banned from the fucking league. Austin Hooper, maybe. Pierre Garçon. Oh my hell! Like,
can you share Sam's team again?
yeah. Here, let me go ahead and throw that up there for you. It's this wet work squad right here. Like a couple years ago, wet work used to be nice and juicy, but that shit's dried out and cobweb.
Just dried up.
Yeah, just shriveled. Like a prune, but worse.
Yeah, he's really, Sam's team is pretty good. It's pretty good, especially it just a lot of it hinges, not all of it. I'm not saying it all, but a lot of it hinges on when Ezekiel Elliott comes back. If he gets to really take advantage of Ezekiel Elliott, then all of a sudden Sam's got fucking David Johnson and Zeke Elliott on his team. You guys know that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then he can throw Bilal Powell or Robert Kelly in the flex, and Bilal Powell is probably going to be sick.
I think he'll have his games.
Go ahead.
I think he'll have his games, but I don't think he'll be a player that you can start week in and week out with confidence. You know what I mean? It just for the same reason that I'm not high on Jordan Howard. It's just a negative game script. They've got a semi sort of decent defense that might keep them in a couple games here and there, but I mean, shit, they got no one to throw the ball to. It's a hot dog shit in New York, and I don't know. I don't think you can just count on Bilal being a week in and week out starter.
I mean, how many games did the Cardinals win last year? And fucking David Johnson was still the number one RB. You can't put too much into that. I understand the logic.
The record, but they were in almost all of those games. Like none of them were. This is going to be a fucking massacre every Sunday. You know what I mean?
And Bilal Powell is going to catch so many passes out of the back, so many dump offs from fucking Bryce Petty or whatever loser's throwing to him. They're going to be like trying to get rid of the ball and dumping it off to Bilal Powell. Where Sam got him is going to be one of these steals of the draft. I guarantee it. Especially now they're shopping Matt Forte. So he's not even a fucking part of their plan.
Right. So I agree with Bill on this because if you look at the bigger picture, he got him. I was going to take Zeke on that turn where I took Lynch or Crowell. I was hoping he'd fall, but he went in the third round, like 19 or 20 or some shit. And if you look at who he could have drafted, so imagine he took somebody else in that situation. That would have been inserted in that lineup picture, and his starting lineup would look a lot better. It all hinges on what the hell happened to Zeke. Because if Zeke comes back and he's running with those two beasts, I mean, shit, you could be dropping 50, 60 a game with those two guys every week. Yeah. And the rest is just, easy pickings. And I don't think it's necessarily a bad team at all. Zeke could really, that's the risk and reward there. It could be a potential playoff push, or it could be a playoff fucking bust because you had to waste that 19th pick on a guy you never saw the field. You just never know.
Yeah. I like Amari Cooper. I love Keenan Allen. Not big on Martavis Bryant, but let's not forget he's got Dalvin Cook there. It remains to be seen, but I think we're all pretty high on him. Tevin Coleman, Bilal Powell, and Fat Rob. Like Sam's team is going to be just fine. But I'll just go back to that point. If Zeke Elliott plays, then all of a sudden, Sam could get dangerous. It's not a matter of if he'll play; it's just how much and when.
Sorry, I'm just reading back through the comments.
Yeah, the comments are funny.
Yeah, they are. Well, we're starting to run a little long, so I say we wrap it up. If you guys don't have anything else.
No, I just, I'm excited to be in the playoffs this year.
You got to make them before you try and win them. Trust me on that. All right, well, thanks for joining us tonight, Nick, filling in for Sam that had other shit to do, apparently just troll the show, but Whatever. And don't forget to like. Don't
He's
forget
working
to
on a
subscribe. Right. And don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. Find us on Facebook. And until Friday, we'll see you guys later. Thanks, fellas.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for
See you
joining.
guys.